All right, what's up, everybody? We are recording. We are coming to you live with another live recording of the Managing Partners podcast. My name is Kevin Daisy. I'll be your host. I'm also the founder of Array Digital, where we help law firms grow their pipeline using digital marketing. So today I have a special guest coming out of California, Kia Champion. What's up, man?
How you doing, Kevin?
Yeah, welcome to the show. So we got to chat a little bit backstage. With some of the cool things you got going on, and just really excited to hear your story, hear the audience learn more about you and what your firm's up to, some of the things that you've been able to accomplish. So, kind of want to start from the beginning. Like, what's your story, man? Like, tell us your background, how you got started, and what kind of made you decide to become an attorney?
So I was originally born in Iran. My family moved to America when I was 3. I grew up in Portland, Oregon, till I was about 14. Then we moved to Los Angeles. My father is a plastic surgeon, so he was in med school up in Oregon, and then he opened up his own practice out here in LA. So most of my adult life has been in LA. I went to law school in San Diego, the University of San Diego, then moved back here. My story is very unique, how I got here. There was a lot of trials and tribulations before even getting my license. In my 20s, I did some stupid things, got in some trouble criminally. I got in trouble with the law. And so actually, when I passed the bar, the California bar didn't give me my license for 3 years. They made me do all these classes and just a bunch of hoops that I had to jump through to get my license. And at the time, it was devastating. There were some really dark times, but out of that actually sprouted my confidence and who I am today as a business owner, because I couldn't get hired. Nobody would hire me as a paralegal.
Oh, really? Wow.
Because they said, okay, wait a minute. You have your license. You passed the bar, but you don't have your license. So we can't hire you as an attorney. And we don't want to hire you as like a paralegal, because what if you get your license and then you want to be an attorney? So it was really tough. I couldn't find a job. So I decided to open up a bar tutoring business, basically tutoring people who had trouble passing the California bar.
Wow, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and I put an ad in Craigslist, believe it or not, where I offered. I remember I offered $2,500 as a flat fee, and if you don't pass, you get your money back. And I had one guy actually call me, and he had failed the bar like 4 times. So he gave me a shot. He passed the bar. He referred a bunch of people, and I turned that into a 6-figure business before I even had my license.
I love it.
And it also kind of paved the way for how I wanted to run my practice, because I saw you do a good job, your name will get out there and you'll get referrals. And that's the best way to retain a client, is if somebody that they trust says, go to this guy, 99% of the time they end up signing up. So once I got my license, I immediately opened up my practice as a sole practitioner. I had some money saved up from the bar tutoring. So I was able to, I spent some money on Google ad clicks, and I put a billboard up. I did anything I could in those early days to kind of try to muster up some business. And, eventually I got 1, 2, was able to do a good job for them, turned into 5, 20, 40. And here we are 6 years later. And We have like 350 open pre-litigation PI cases,
That's excellent.
about 200 litigation cases. We also do employment law. So it just kind of snowballed from those humble beginnings.
I love that, man. That's an amazing story. A couple things in there. Your dad's an entrepreneur, so I assume that had some effect on you as far as going into on your own versus trying to work for someone else. Interesting about the paralegal, like you're overqualified to be a paralegal, and that's interesting. So but you didn't give up. You figured out some other way to really stay within the industry, but you got to make a buck and you got to get yourself, to the next side, which is waiting. Did they tell you like it's going to be 3 years, or you just didn't really have a timeline?
No time.
No idea.
No timeline. I was flying blind, just doing everything I could. Going back to what you were saying, absolutely. My father was a big role model as far as, having your own business. Medicine wasn't for me. I like to talk and argue, so I thought law would be the way to go.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, amazing story, man. And some of the things, the challenges you had, it's not even being from the country and moving around and all those things as well. So, but good on you for sticking with it, and now look where you're at. So, and doing good work. I mean, I've interviewed over 100 probably managing partners this year, and the number one thing is you got to do good work. You have to be transparent. You have to have integrity. You're going to get work from that. It's going to come back to you for sure. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, you can't beat a referral. You get a referral. If I get a referral, it's the best thing ever, and it's usually a done deal. So, you got to do good work and do that. So that's cool, man. Doing good things, putting good vibes out there. You're going to get stuff in return. So tell me a little bit more about your firm. So what's the different practice areas that you focus on? I think you have a few locations as well. So give us a little bit more information on the firm itself.
Yeah. So I would say we're probably about 70% personal injury, 25% employment, and 5% criminal defense. It didn't start that way. It started out, I was going to do criminal defense. It just kind of the PI just kind of took off. And when I was in law school, I worked for an employment firm. And the first attorney I hired, he came from an employment firm. So we kind of, we said, why don't we, add employment law to our practice? And he's done an amazing job of building the employment practice up.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. He's got the skills and the know-how. That makes sense to kind of run it. Now, for the criminal defense, so this seems like a really small percentage of that. Is that coming in from leads or like from referrals from your other types of clients?
Mostly referrals. Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool. So what are some ways you got? So I know you've put some money in like Google ads and you've done some SEO in the past and you have a nice website. What are some of the things that you have done outside of referrals and just doing good work? What are some of the things that you've done that have been effective for you? Or are there things that you've done that just, you don't believe are going to work?
It's a lot of being a foot soldier. Anytime I would get in an Uber or a Lyft, I would strike a conversation up with the driver, give him my card. I think the key is finding some connection with a person beyond just like, I'm an attorney, you should hire me. If they remember you and they like you, they're more likely to call you. They're more likely to remember you when they get rear-ended. So I try to build relationships with everybody. I think my background helps in that. I mean, even though I'm Iranian, my mother is Jewish. My father, even though he's not religious, he's a man of science, but he comes from a Muslim background. And in Iran, that was really unheard of for a Muslim and a Jewish person to marry. So there's a very broad group of people that I've associated with in my life. I don't put myself in any one like category per person.
Oh, my camera's messing up. No, I mean, that's similar to me, like not from my background, but just I like striking up a conversation with pretty much anybody. I like to just talk to people. So, and business comes up no matter what. So it doesn't always help me when I'm at home with my wife, going out to events with her. But yeah, that's the way I am too. So I just like talking to people, having a conversation, and it leads to good things. People are going to refer you, whether or not they can be a client or not. It doesn't matter. So
yeah,
the camera's messing up.
Yeah, you're a little blurry.
I think it's picking up the mic on the audio. There we go. Let's try this. I don't know. Well, that's fine. So yeah, really cool stuff. So you mentioned some of the things. Let me switch my camera and see if that works. There we go. We're back, people. Sorry about that. So some of the things you have done, you mentioned like the billboard. Like, did that do anything for you, or was that just a big waste of money?
I think it was a big waste of money.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to put a billboard on every block. Because there in Los Angeles, there's a PI attorney on every block.
I can imagine.
There's so many because, we have a lot of car accidents here. And so unless you saturate the market with your likeness, there's a couple of attorneys that have done that. Every time you turn on the TV, you see their commercials or you see their billboards everywhere.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm sure it works. It's a huge investment. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know how successful they are. And of course they get cases, but I think it's not filtered. They're getting just hundreds of calls a day. A lot of them might not even be like, I rear-ended someone. Do I have a case? No, sorry, you don't have a case.
You might want to call someone else. No, I do digital marketing. You know what we do because we've spoke with you. So we do digital marketing, and not that I'm completely against those types of marketing tactics. It just, like you just mentioned, it takes an insane investment over years, sometimes decades, and yeah, it's a broadcast. So you definitely can't filter people. You can't really be there when they actually need you if it's a billboard, unless they wrecked right in front of it. So if they don't remember your name, then they're not going to call you. So it just takes a long time to penetrate the market. And so you have to go all in and dominate it, or it's one billboard's a completely waste of money. So,
right.
Yeah. So that's, why we look at digital marketing to try to, when someone's looking, they don't know you, how can they find you that way? And you come up, but there's a firm here locally. So I'm in Virginia, you're in California, but there's a firm here local that I've spoken with, just get an analysis of their stuff. And they spend a tremendous amount of money on all traditional stuff over the years. And they have like something like 8 people full time, just answering phones all day to try to source through all the phone calls they get. And I forgot how much it cost them per month. It was a lot of money, but just to make, just to source the calls, they have that many calls that they have to source through. And most of them are definitely not cases. So it's a really small percentage, but now they have to invest in all these folks and people answering phones just to wade through all the crap that they're producing, just to try to get, and their case values are very low compared to what they used to be. So, it can cause a lot of issues if that's all you do. So.
Yeah. I also did the Google like ad, like pay per click.
Mm-hmm.
It was good in that I did get a few cases, and from that, those people referred people. So it was a good jump off to get, me in the door with clients. But after a while, I really didn't need to do that anymore. I had enough like clout that people were coming in, whatever you want to call it. My reputation had built up to the point where I was getting a lot of clients without having to do the Google ads.
Yeah, it was actually, so the way we look at it, it's kind of like a trust. It's like a trust level, and it's like, and when I'm talking about like your potential clients and what they trust, and your website's kind of down at the bottom where they trust that a lot versus, and then Google, organic search, they'll trust that, and the reviews like on your Google listings, they'll trust that more. And then ads, they start to they don't trust that at all. Social media is kind of in the middle there, so. It's certain things that I just feel people don't trust as much. And with the ads, you're usually getting lower quality leads for sure. We see that across the board with our clients. It's good if you nail the other things down, your SEO crushes it, your website's awesome, then advertising makes a little bit more sense. But it's definitely, we see across the board, it's definitely a lower quality lead when you're paying for those ads. So, but some firms, they've done everything and now they want more, right? So they'll dump more money into that. And as long as they have a system for it, an intake process that works, it makes sense, I think. So,
yeah.
So, so you have like almost 400 cases, 350 cases active. So what do you do to manage that pipeline? Any kind of case management software? What do you guys use for that?
Yeah. We have a case management software. I have 14 employees.
Okay.
So,
4 attorneys?
5 attorneys.
5 attorneys.
Including me, 5 attorneys.
Awesome. And you got, I saw on your website, I think 3 different locations.
Yeah, we also have a location now in Nevada as well. We have a location in Vegas.
Oh, wow. Interesting. I didn't know that. Okay. So is that, how many locations is that? Is that 5?
4.
4. Okay.
And one of the attorneys that he lives there, and he basically manages the Vegas office.
Okay, excellent. So that's kind of separately managed by him. Okay, cool. What's the case management software that you're using?
CasePeer.
CasePeer. Okay, I haven't heard of that one. I was trying to make note of that. I've heard like Clio, and I was talking to somebody the other day.
We tried Clio. We tried some of the other ones. I really like CasePeer so far. It's a lot of these software they're not PI specific, like they're kind of civil litigation specific, whereas CasePeer is really PI specific.
Nice. Okay, that's awesome. I heard someone the other day. They're using one out of Australia. It's called like Smokeball. Never.
I haven't heard of that one.
I heard of that. I was like, Smokeball? What was that? So yeah. So whatever works for you, I guess.
Yeah.
So Kia, what's kind of coming down? What's your plans for next year and maybe the next couple of years? What's some of the kind of growth that you're working on? Or maybe it's not just growth, but efficiencies. What do you have planned?
Well, I'm always looking for new, innovative ways to bring in business. So we try a lot of different things. But I don't have a specific, like, this is what we're going to do. I kind of tether myself to do the best job on every case, and the cases will come. And so far, so good.
Well, you can't go wrong with that. Is there any plans? So like you got the new office location, Nevada too. So is there any plans to have any more offices or any more attorneys or grow the staff at all?
Yeah. it's funny. One of my mentors is, he's like a big time PI attorney here in LA. And he told me, number one advice he gave me for employees is, don't hire new employees unless you're absolutely like, overrun and need it. So I've kind of followed that when I've seen like we're too busy and we need help, I'll hire somebody new. So I kind of just been doing it incrementally as we've gotten busier.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's good because I think like in the past, I've gone through the same thing. I don't run a law firm, but I run a marketing company, but we're 22 roughly full time. And a lot of times I'll have like a manager or another employee say, hey, I want to hire this other person to help me out. And we'll go, okay, well, let's take a look and let's give it some time. Let's see like what the problems are and where we need help. And then we'll look at the budgets and we'll see if we can hire that person. And then like a week goes by, which we kind of almost do on purpose, a week or two. And they're like, hey, how are things going? Oh, man, everything's good now. I slowed down. It was just a couple of new clients came on board. So I was just busy for that short period of time. So it's like, there wasn't really a need. Of course, everyone wants help when they can get it, but we got to buckle down and get the work done. And if you're going to be busy for a little bit of time, then so be it. This is a business. So I think sometimes you got to be careful about just hiring and really there wasn't a need or it was a short period of time. And then you end up with this employee that, you didn't really, you didn't need. So,
yeah, right.
So we do the same thing. We try to take it, it's hard to plan, I think. Now, so I've had a bunch of people on here, managing partners that have very specific plans, not necessarily in people, but maybe another state or another office or something like that. But it's really hard to predict, I think.
I try to be flexible.
Yeah.
Also, one other thing I didn't really mention, I think what I'm not saying every attorney, but what separates me from a lot of attorneys that in speaking with my clients, it seems to be a number one complaint is there's a lack of communication from the attorney. So they hand off the case to a case manager and then the client never hears from the attorney again. And I try to give every client my personal cell phone, with the understanding that, hey, look, we have a lot of people here, but if you need something, text me, call me. Sometimes even when I tell them that, they'll be like, you haven't reached out to me in forever. And I'll be like, remember, I told you, if you need anything, you can I'm a text away. But I think it's really made a big difference because, like I said, it's the number one complaint. I had a case 5 years ago and I never even met the attorney, and so I try to make myself available.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that being a big. I know that in our industry, that's a huge complaint too, and we've tried to address that as well. Being over the top with communication, but the thing is, just like if someone hires us and they give us a bunch of money, and they're wondering what's going on, is anything happening? And so that's something over the years we've just tried to always improve. And I think from an attorney standpoint too, like if I had a case or a personal situation, and I wasn't really sure of the outcomes or what's going to happen, like while you're not getting back to them, they're just literally sitting around thinking about it. Like, what's happening? Is this attorney listening to me? Are they going to do what they say? So you got to think about what the customer's feeling, and they're constantly going to be thinking, what the hell is going on? So,
yeah.
I mean, you could use it in any situation. Say you're getting like a new kitchen in your house or whatever, and the contractor's not telling you what's happening, what's the schedule, when's it going to be done. You're going to pick up the phone and go, hey, what's up? I haven't heard anything from you. So, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So, yep, I think across the board, better communication for the win, for sure. Well, Kia, thanks so much for sharing some of the things about you and an interesting story. Some of the things you had to go through. I agree with you. I think you're in a better person, a better place, probably for that. Having to go through that sucks, but it looks like you're doing well now. So I appreciate you coming on to share your story with us and the things that you're up to. So anything else you want to share before we roll?
I'll just give you my credo, which is adversity is simply opportunity disguised. I'll leave it at that.
I like it. Yep. Fighting adversity for sure. Well, Kia, I appreciate you coming on, man. Stick on with me for just a second. Everyone that's tuning in, check out his firm. You can go to champlawfirm.com. It's down at the bottom of your screen if you're watching on video. If you're on audio, that's champlawfirm.com. Super simple. It's Kia Champion if you want to look him up, connect with him elsewhere. Also, his episode will be live up on our website soon at arraylaw.com/podcast. Also available on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and it'll be up on the podcast on Apple, Google, Spotify, and every other platform available. So stay tuned for that. And if you need any help growing your firm, doing some of those tactics that'll work for you to get more leads, you can check us out at arraylaw.com. Reach out to me, my team. Happy to talk to you. I also give out my cell phone. If you need anything, let me know. And that's it. Kia?
Thank you so much, Kevin.
Yeah, man. Thanks for sharing, brother. I appreciate it. You stick on with me for a second, and everyone else, have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.